Good morning. Can I get response?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Only
Good
thing
morning,
is to
sir.
ensure that somebody is there. I think there's a long gap, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. I think first day I took session, next day I could not take. I think Dr. Sophie, she took class. Then I think we had a series of holidays because of various reasons. And now again we have gathered. I don't know how many of you remember what I was trying to convey in my first session. If I'm not wrong, I was trying to convey that to manage organizations, you need to, or we need to possess certain competencies. I think I was trying to emphasize on those competencies. And to build these competencies, our syllabus is designed in such a way so that we are equipped to manage the organization. That is what I was trying to convey in my previous session. I would like to know whether anybody attended that session. How many participants are there who are attending for the first time? Okay.
No, sir.
Sharath, you were there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, in our previous session, then it's okay. One person is there. A great consolation for me. I think this is what I was sharing with you. Okay. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. I think last time I was sharing that to manage organizations, we need to possess these competencies, and our syllabus is designed in this way. Let's try to understand the meanings of a few concepts. Okay. I think we use frequently one particular word, organization. The simple meaning of organization is it's a formal, coordinated group of people who function to achieve a particular goals. I think when we talk about organizations, they have goals. Organizations have uh, different stakeholders. I think in order to satisfy each stakeholder, we will try to have one particular objective or goals. Therefore, we have goals. We have goals towards shareholders. We have goals towards, I can tell you, our customers. We have goals towards our employees. Like that, there are different stakeholders. Stakeholders are those people who have got stake in the organization. So, in order to achieve these goals, when people they come together, when they coordinate, and when they form uh, into something that's called an organization, and these goals they cannot be achieved by individuals alone. The reason being, sometimes the goals may be too many, or the goals are big, we are small, or the goals may be too big. Sometimes because of they are too big, we become small, therefore we come together, and we come together, we achieve more. Together we can achieve more, therefore we form an organization. Now, when we form an organization, there is something called differentiation and integration. You try to divide the work and you try to integrate the work. And the way you try to differentiate, the way you integrate the work, it gives birth to a structure. Therefore, that is division of work and also integration of work. And these things, they give birth to something called a structure. Therefore, the third thing is, and every organization has got a structure. Then a characteristic of any organization is an organization has a structure. Saying it, I think we will have a separate discussion on structures of organization. There are different structures, but one thing is certain that there is a structure, there is a division and also integration of work. See, this is how they are divided and they are integrated with the help of this authority. Then an organization consists of people, group of people striving to reach goal that individual acting alone could not achieve. Then we talk about two or more people who work together in a structured way to achieve a specific goals or set of goals. We call it organization. Then goals, we say a purpose or purposes that an organization strives to achieve. Organizations often have more than one goals, and that is what I was trying to share with you. And the role of the management. The role of the management is to guide the organizations towards achieving these goals. Then we use the word manager. And managers are those people responsible for directing the efforts aimed at helping organization achieve their goals. In other words, managers are those people who are responsible to get things done through others. We call them as managers. Then a person who plans, organizes, directs, controls the allocation of human, material, financial, and information resources in pursuit of the organization goals, we call him as the manager. That means this person is responsible for men, material, machine, money, and money of the organization in order to pursue the goals of the organization. We call him as the manager. These are the basic concepts. Now, management, it refers to the tasks and activities which are involved in directing an organization or one of its units, planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. So these tasks, when a person is involved in order to achieve the goals of the organization, we call it as the management. It is the process of reaching the goals of the organization by working through people and other organizational resources. Through this process, you are going to achieve the goals of the organization. You have to work with them. You have to work through people. Then what are the types of managers? We have a function. It's a classification referring to a group of similar activities in an organization like marketing or operations based on function. Then functional managers, a manager responsible for just one organizational activity. We call him as a finance manager, HR manager, sales manager, like the different kinds of names we are going to give based on their function. And the focus is on your expertise in that particular area. And we use communication, planning, admin, teamwork, and self-management competencies in order to get things done. It could be any of these areas. Then what are the types of managers again? We talk about general managers. These are the people responsible for the operations of more complex unit. For example, a company or a division, we call him as a general manager. They oversee the work of functional managers. They're responsible for all the activities of the unit. They need to acquire strategic multicultural competencies in order to guide organizations. There are many other types of managers. Then we have functions of management: planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. And we plan, we organize, we try to influence people through leading in order to achieve the goals of the organization. As I told you, organizations, they have more than one goal, not just one goal, because we have stakeholders. Now, organization has got resources: people, money, raw material, and capital resources. These things are called inputs. And when you put it, some people they call transformation, some people they call it transformation process or a throughput. And these things, they are delivered in the form of output. Output could be in the form of goods and services. Now, let's talk about planning. Planning involves tasks that must be performed to attain the goals of the organization. Planning outlines how the task must be performed. Planning indicates when they should be performed. Everything when you try to decide ahead before performing, you call that function as planning function. This planning, they decide the goals and how to achieve these goals. Managers plans for three reasons. They want to establish an overall direction for the organization's future. In strategic planning, you try to plan ahead. We used to say 20 years in those days. Now, I think things are changing. Therefore, the future world you have to interpret in a different way, because all of us are going through that volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous environment. It's called VUCA environment, most of you know. When the environment is like that, what is that period? You have to decide based on the situation. When I was studying, we used to talk about a lot of things. We have to decide 20 years ahead of what is going to happen, so many things. But today, you have to think about the organization, what is the life of the organization, all these things. Then you plan in order to identify and commit resources to achieve the goals. And third thing is, you plan because you want to decide which task must be done to reach these goals. Then we have got this organization chart, which depicts, I think you'll find in most of your colleges and other places, who is heading the organization, what are different functions, and who are the different functional head, everything is depicted. Organizing means assigning the planned tasks to various individuals or groups within the organization and crafting a mechanism to put plans into action. It is the process of deciding where decisions will be made, who will perform, what job they perform, what task they perform, and who will report to whom in the company. This includes creating departments and job descriptions. Then leading talks about you need to influence people. See, once you influence people, once you motivate people, they will raise below, I can tell you, minimum acceptable level of work. If we do not influence people, I think people will not raise to that level. They will give you minimum acceptable level of work only. Therefore, the next function that we talk about is you have to lead people, you have to guide people so that appropriate actions are taken. Now, you have to get others to perform the necessary tasks by motivating them to achieve the organization goals. And it is a crucial element in the entire organization. Then the next thing that we talk about is how to control. Why to control? See, you plan, you want things to go in a particular way. I think, if I'm not wrong, Professor G. Niranjan Garu, please mute your video. Here, people, they are able to see. Okay. Sorry. Right. There's you intend things should be done in a particular way. Sometimes they go in that way. Sometimes they may not go in that way. Therefore, there is a need for you to track the performance. Therefore, you have to gather information that measures a recent performance. And you have to compare the performance with the pre-established standards. Then you have to decide to modify or not. This is based on this controlling function only. Now, controlling is a process by which a person, group, or organization consciously monitors performance and takes corrective action. Then we talk about levels of management. Here, non-managers will be there, operatives, and they are managed by first-line managers, middle-level managers, and top-level managers. Now, top-level managers. These people are responsible for providing the overall direction of an organization. They have to think ahead. They have to scan the environment. They should know how to steer the organization in this VUCA environment. Then they should develop goals and strategies for the organization. Sometimes we have vision for the organization, but these visions, they get blurred. They lose their clarity. So, when vision get blurred, what you do, the same thing have to be done to the organization also. You have to develop goals. You have to develop strategies for the organization. The top managers, they do all these things. They spend most of the time in planning and leading. They communicate with all these stakeholders. Managing stakeholders, it's not that easy as we think. You have to manage stockholders, you have to manage unions, you have to manage governmental agencies, you have to liaison with them, you have to do a lot of lobbying also sometimes. All these things, they happen. You have to communicate with all the stakeholders. And nowadays, companies, they are not, their functions is not limited to one particular area. Those who are working in corporate sector, they know very well there is something called multiculturalism, diversity. It is playing a dominant role on how to make use of multicultural and strategic action competencies to lead the firm is crucial. Managing diversity is crucial. All these things are done by top managers. Then we have first-line managers. They have direct responsibility for producing goods or services. They are given different names. They are called supervisors. They are called foremen. They are called clerical supervisors, different kinds of names. Then we have middle managers. Middle-level managers, their role. These people, middle-level managers, they coordinate employee activities. They decide which goods or services to provide. They decide how to market goods and services to customers. And they are in between. Top managers, they provide overall direction of the organization. Top managers, middle-level managers, and first-level managers. These top managers, C-suite, they are given different kinds of names in organization. They are called CEOs, presidents, vice president, or different kinds of nomenclature is there. Frontline managers, they are directly responsible for the production of goods and services. Their employees who report to first-line managers do the organization's work. They spend little time with top managers in large organizations. They have got a lot of technical expertise. That means when you are at lower level, you need to possess, of course, we will come to that point, more technical expertise. Otherwise, you can't command respect from your operatives. They rely on planning, they rely on admin, they rely on self-management, teamwork, communication, competencies in order to get work done. Then we have got middle-level managers. They're responsible for setting the objectives that are consistent with the top management goals. That means they have to translate top management goals and plans for the first-line managers to implement. They're responsible for coordinating activities of, that means top-level managers, they have to translate, and they're also responsible for the people who are below them. They are first-level, first-line managers. They have to establish targets, dates for products, services to be delivered. They need to coordinate with other resources, and they should have the ability to develop others is important, because from middle level, they'll be going to the higher level. Therefore, the gap has to be filled, and they have the responsibility of developing even other people. They need to rely on communication, teamwork, planning, admin competencies in order to achieve goal. If you understand what I'm trying to convey, from beginning till end, I am emphasizing on the competencies that you need to possess these organizations. Whether you are a top level manager, middle level manager, or a low or a first line manager, I'm emphasizing on competencies that you need to acquire, and to acquire these competencies, we have designed, as I told you, this particular syllabus. Then we talk about levels of management and also the skills needed. We are talking about a first line, middle line, or middle level, or top management. And if you can clearly see, they need technical skills, human skills, and conceptual skills. At a lower level, you need to have more of technical skills. If you do not have, you can't command respect from people, and you are responsible for clarifying various doubts that people they get in the organization. So you need to have a lot of technical skills when you are at first level. But remember, whether you are at first level, whether you are at middle level, whether you are at a top level, you should know how to manage people. It requires a lot of human skills. See, you need whatever be the level. But as you grow, as you go to a higher level, when you occupy top positions, what you need to possess is conceptual skills. For example, from a lecturer, I think you have grown to a higher level, you became professor, then you are elevated to the level of vice chancellor or the CEO of an organization. When you go to that level, I don't expect you to know all the subjects, but you should know, or you should be conversant with the concept. Therefore, at a higher level, you should know what is what. That kind of conceptual skills you need to possess. Now, what are the what are the managerial competencies? Competency, a combination of knowledge, skills, behavior, and attitude that contribute to our effectiveness. Then managerial competencies, it talks about, I use the word ask, attitude, skills, knowledge, these things. So knowledge, skills, behavior, and attitude that a person needs to be effective in a wide range of positions and various types of organization. If you possess managerial competencies, for example, several times we come across IPS officers. Sometimes they will be in the parent department. Sometimes they are brought to other organizations to manage. I think I need not take the names, not only I think in the present situation, but several times we have IPS officers managing very big organization. How they are able to manage means because they possess these managerial competencies. Now, what are the 6 core managerial competencies that takes it to be a great manager? First thing, we need to communicate. Remember this one. Many people, they are under the impression if they are in a position to talk English language fluently, they have good communication competency. I want to make it very clear. I am not against English language. First thing. You should, if you are good at English language, good. Communication is transference meaning. Okay. So many times what happens, many times people, they think they are communicating, but they never connect to people. There is a book, it talks about many communicate, very few connect. So when I talk about communication competencies, your ability to connect to people, your ability to connect to people. The second thing is you have to think ahead, you have to administer, planning and administration. Then the third competency, your ability to work with people. Nowadays, many places, people, they are lacking this particular competency. Then you should be able to take strategic action competencies. Then your ability to work in a multicultural environment. Then it appears to the last one, but the most important, many times people, they want to lead others, but they fail to lead themselves. Therefore, the word that I'm using is, you should have the competency to manage yourself. Self-management competency. Remember, when you go through the syllabus that is given to you, these competencies are, I think, kept in your syllabus. Now, communication competency, ability to effectively transfer and exchange information that leads to understanding between yourself and others. It could be formal, informal communication. And you need to have a lot of communication skills at the time of negotiations. Then we talk about planning and admin. You have to decide what tasks need to be done, determine how they can be done, allocating resources to enable them to be done, and then monitoring progress to ensure that they are done. Here, one principle I'm telling you. Always I tell people, you have to trust people to get things done. But remember this principle. You have to trust. At the same time, periodically, you have to check. You have to verify. Many times we are trusting people blindly. I'm not blaming those people. Something can happen to them. You have to go to the rescue. Therefore, you have to trust At the same time, you need to verify or you need to check. Planning and admin, when we talk about, we have to decide what to be done. You have to give resources. And this requires you have to gather information, relevant, pertinent.
पैड है क्या तुम्हारे पास बड़ा वाला ऐसा लगाते ना चेयर का ऊपर, वो वाला नहीं है, छोटा वाला 1 फीट वाला, कुछ और दूसरा कुछ है क्या? शीट बीट कुछ नहीं है ना?
It appears someone is talking. I think they're communicating to someone. Planning and organizing projects with agreed upon completion dates. And these people, they need to possess a lot of time management. Budgeting, financial management skills also they need to possess. Then we talk about teamwork. Teamwork competency, you have to accomplish tasks with small groups of people who are collectively responsible and whose job requires coordination. Let me tell you, this happens to be my experience. Many times students, they come and tell me, sir, give me any work I will do. Don't tag me with someone. But I have to tell you, together we achieve more. You have to work people, you have to through people. Then only you can achieve. I think the reasons are many. We will discuss under team management about this one. You have to design teams properly, which involves having people to participate in setting goals. You have to create a supportive team environment in order to get people committed to the team's goal. Then you have to manage team dynamics. Oh, it's very difficult, but not impossible. You have to manage team dynamics. You have to settle conflict. You have to share team success. Oh my God. Sharing team success. You should not be a credit stealer. You have to assign tasks that use team members' strengths. Then we talk about strategic action competency. You have to understand well the overall mission and values of the organization, and you have to ensure that employees' action must match with them. You have to understand how departments and divisions of the organization, they are interrelated. When you don't understand, the problem comes. I'll tell you one thing. Many times people, they think the quality is the responsibility of that quality control some department. But we have to understand quality of our product depends on the type of inputs we are giving, the kind of processes through which they are going through. I know in many places where people, they talk about quality. Recently, I had to ask at some places, you are talking about quality and all those things, but what kind of inputs you are getting? What kind of students you are getting? See, it all depends on, if you don't match them, see, you will not get it. See, quality happens from the beginning, it's not at the end. So if you are into the strategic action competency, you will understand the linkage between all these departments. I think those you people know very well that the linkage between all these things at many places, they are not there. Taking key strategic action to position the firm for success, especially in relation to concern of the stakeholder. Leapfrogging competitors. You have to go ahead of your competitors. Then, all these are about companies. Then we need to talk about multicultural competency. My God, nowadays we are lacking this. You have to understand, appreciate, and respond to diverse political, cultural, and economic issues and within nation, because you are not limited to one culture, or you are not operating just in India. Even within India, I think we have got a lot of cultural diversity. We need to understand, when you think from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, I think there are different cultures. Unless you understand, appreciate, and respond to this culture, it's not possible for you to operate. This requires a different competencies, uh, cultural knowledge and understanding of the events in at least a few other cultures, cultural openness, cultural sensitivity to how others think and say, what you wear, what you eat, how you behave, how you talk. Oh, all these things, they are a matter of great concern. Respectful of social etiquette variations, accepting the language differences. All these things, they are part of our multicultural competency. Many times we give training in so many things, except in this multicultural competency. Then the next thing, as I told you, we want to manage others, but we fail to manage ourselves. So we have to develop ourselves. We need to take care of responsibility. Then there is something called integrity, something called ethical conduct. We preach others, but several times we fail. A simple thing, we preach others what they should not do. The simple question often we ask, when you are left alone, when no one is watching you, how you react to various situations, that talks about your integrity, your ethics. You need to have your personal drive. You need to have resilience. Say, to fall is inevitable. That's what people they say. But how quickly you get up, it matters. You can think about various stories of businessmen. Some people that had this resilience, they could get up. Some people, they got into depression, they left the world also. Therefore, you should have that inner, this is very important I'm talking about. Personal drive and resilience you need to have. Then, how do you balance work and life issues? I think this happens to be a very important subject. I think what we are taught, I'm telling you nowadays, if you leave the organization, they replace in your place with someone. But that can't happen in your family. At the same time, you need to work also to keep your family happy. But you should know how to balance your life, how to balance your work. Both the things are required. Then what is required is self-awareness and personal development. Then you need to have your commitment. Recently, I was talking about leading with wisdom. Leading with wisdom. When you lead people, you have to lead people with wisdom. When you try to lead people with wisdom, the first stage that we talk about is you should have, today we talk about the physical intelligence. Physical intelligence. I think there is small picture also. I think not picture, a GIF or something the same. You should have you should know how to manage your body. It's very important. Nowadays, people they talk it as an important subject. You need to have physical intelligence. From there, you should know, develop your, I can tell, IQ you have to develop. IQ. Then from IQ, you should know how to manage your social environment, to manage your social environment. Today, everybody is talking about emotional intelligence, social intelligence. You should know things, how they are happening. You should have that curiosity, intelligence. And you should also know how to face adverse situation, and that requires embracing adversity intelligence, and from there you have to move to something called wisdom, a spiritual intelligence. I think these are the different stages one has to develop in order to manage the organization. It's a great subject, let me tell you. The self-management happens to be a great subject. And the CEO of Xerox company says, my strengths and weaknesses have not changed a lot in 51 years. The important thing is to recognize the things that you don't do well and build a team that reflects what you know the company needs. Okay. Now, based on what I have taught, okay. We can sum up in this one. You have to plan, you have to organize, you have to control, you have to lead the organization in order to manage this VUCA environment. Sometimes you observe whether management differs from country to country. Whether management differs from country to country. See, let me tell you, management happens to be a culture bound. There's something called culture. This writer by name William Auchi, what he did was, he examined what's happening in American organization, what was happening in Japanese organization, and he has come out with a theory that is called Theory Z. And he called it is a modified American version. What it says, in USA, in American organization, the employment happens to be short-term employment. The decision-making happens to be an individual decision-making. The responsibility happens to be individual responsibility. Then evaluations are rapid. They have a policy called hire and fire. And the control mechanism is too explicit, made it very clear. The career paths are too specialized. And the concern for you by the management is segmented one. This is what happens in American organizations. But what it says in Japanese organization, the system is different. In Japanese organization, once you are taken to organization, you'll be there throughout your life. It's called lifetime employment. I read in some books relating to the Japanese organization. When a person joins the organization, they take an oath that they will protect the organization. Because people have taken the oath to protect the organization, even Japanese organization, what they do, they try to protect people who are working in their organization. During recession, during downturn, they don't throw away people. This is what I read. What they do during recession or downturn, from top level manager to a bottom level manager or bottom level man, they forego a part of their salary and they try to protect the organization. So that happens to be the culture of Japanese organization. So they have a lifetime employment. And the decision-making happens to be collective decision-making. Because decision-making happens to be collective decision-making, the responsibility they feel also is collective. And people, they evaluate the performance of people slowly. It's like this. When a child has taken birth in your family, will you evaluate that person very fast? You give them a number of opportunities. Slowly, you try to evaluate. In the same way, they try to evaluate the performance of their people slowly, and that is how they want to promote. And when we talk about control mechanism, they are having implicit control mechanism system, unlike American organization. Then the career paths are not specialized so much. No strict regimentation, non-specialized career paths are there. And the concern for their employees is Holistic concern, not a segmented concern. This is what happens in Japanese organization. So this is the difference between American organization and Japanese organization. But slowly, what William Aochi has done is, he has blended, and based on that, he has brought out a theory that is called Theory Z. People, they think theory X, theory Y, because this is a part of that one. So, but theory Z is something different. In Theory Z, he advocates long-term employment. And he says the decision-making should be collective. The responsibility should be individual responsibility. And he took in Theory Z, Japanese organization point. He said the evaluation should be slow and promotion should be there. And here he admixed both American and Japanese organization, and he started telling you should have implicit informal control at the same time, explicit formalized measure. Both the things you have to. Too much informal is not good. Too much formal is not good. You have to combine both the things. Then when he talks about career path, he says you should have moderately specialized career path. And your concern should be holistic concern about your employees, and you have to think about their families too. So this is about American organization, Japanese organization. Sometimes in the examination, they'll ask you, what is theory Z? At that time, you can write about this one. So friends, what I was trying to convey? Or all of us, we are operating in a VUCA environment. Volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. 2 years back, no one knew that a pandemic will come like that. And that has taught us different things. Oh, initially we were finding it difficult to manage, but now we have understood how to manage. And this has taught us great lessons. Now, you as a manager have to operate in a VUCA environment. To operate in this VUCA environment, you are supposed to possess certain competencies. What are the competencies you need to possess that we have discussed? And to acquire these competencies, our university has designed the syllabus in such a way that you possess, you'll be able to manage this organization in this complex business environment. Okay, this is what I was trying to share with you. I think it is 11:51. I think you need to get ready for next session. In fact, I can tell you I have material for almost all the units. I can start one more unit, but I think you have to get ready for next session. Can I get in contact with anyone from B.R. Ambedkar Open University? Sir, am I supposed to leave, or can I take up the next topic? Anyone from Radhakrishna? Are you there that side? I think Vishwa is very, very sincere. I think I'm observing. Vishwa,
Sir,
you're taking down notes, doing a lot of things. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Right. I'm observing. So I can leave the class. Okay, thank you. Because I'm told that you need to get into some other link, all of you. There should not be traffic jam, I think.
Thank you so much, sir, for valuable information.
Okay, thank you. I'll get back to you next.
Thank you, sir.